Hello everyone and welcome to Soul Ascension Tarot. My name is Whitney and I'm an intuitive tarot reader. My intentions for this reading is to give you messages that you need to hear at this time. This is a timeless reading, so whenever this message finds you, that is when you're meant to receive it. I encourage you to allow yourself time, to allow your intuition to guide you to the pile that has a message for you. I have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And you please excuse me, I think they're working on the apartment next to mine, so if you hear any talking or banging noises, that's what's going on, and I hope it's not like too distractive for you guys. As always, I want you to use discernment when you're listening to your message and never force a message to resonate with you. If it does, please only take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. But that's all I have for the introduction. I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1. I have here your cards. I think we'll look at your tarot cards first, and then we'll look into your oracle cards to get some additional messages. So the first card you have is 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, King of Wands, and 6 of Pentacles. Okay, one of the first things that came forward with your message with the King of Wands, it feels like the energy I'm getting from the King of Wands, especially with him being in reverse, it feels like, it kind of reminds me of how it's more like specifically, like this isn't the specific situation, but the thing it's making me think of is how like men, how they get like frustrated because they feel like when they feel entitled to receive something from a woman, especially if they're, you know, being nice or whatever, or pretending to be nice, like with the promise that, you know, they'll get something out of it. I'm not saying that's you guys specifically, but that's just like the energy that I'm picking up on. And I feel like you guys have been either like working towards something or trying to achieve or accomplish something, but you're not getting the gratification from it. I don't know why, I don't know specifically what this is you're working towards, but for the most part, I'm seeing that whatever it is that you're working towards is not something that you're going to receive gratification from immediately. It's going to take time for this thing to grow, and it's kind of like the energy, like it's like you're gonna put energy towards this thing, but you're not gonna be able to see like the growth. Like for example, like someone who's trying to lose weight or something like that. For most people, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, more often than not, the best way to do so is to just do it slowly. Most of the times, if you're trying to speed up the process, most of the time, the habits and the routines that you use to lose that weight very quickly, it doesn't stick. It's not sustainable. So oftentimes when a lot of people who lose weight really quickly and in an unsustainable way, they end up gaining all the weight back because they didn't like create habits or systems that can be like sustained long term. So for you guys, it's like whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, it's going to take time. It's like a process, and you're not always going to be able to see, you know, the results from the energy that you're putting in. And I'm getting the sense that you're feeling a little bit frustrated. Another message that's coming through with the 6 of Wands is it feels like for some of you that, I don't know, it's like you feel, for some of you this could be related to like a project, but for some of you this might be related to an aspect of healing, because I'm also getting a message of like you guys feeling like you're not receiving some type of recognition for the work or the progress that you've made. And if this, because I'm getting this message about like how some of you, I don't know, it's like you felt like if you healed, you'd receive something. It kind of makes me think of like how some people, I don't know, like the thing that's coming to my mind is like some people who get into the space of like healing, maybe they suffered some type of heartbreak or something, and so they decide to like take a step back and heal. And I don't know, like they kind of have this idea like, okay, if I take some time alone and heal myself, then I'll get into a relationship. And I'm not saying that's your specific situation, but it's like what's coming through. But it's like I don't know, for some of you, I feel like if you had this idea that if you worked on yourself and healed yourself, you'd receive praise or recognition for it. And I don't know, there's like this sense of like frustration because you're not receiving what you thought you would get from like putting in that work. I'm also getting the message too that I don't know, like especially if you're trying to work on something specific, or like it's like a specific project that you've been working on, I'm hearing that some of you might end up, it's like you get frustrated. It's almost like a kid who like gets occupied, like their mind and attention is like focused on this one toy and they just play with it so much, and then eventually they get bored and then they're like they throw it away or they forget all about that toy and they move on to the next. It's kind of like that way for you, but it's like because you're not receiving you're not getting the growth that you thought you're deserving of. You're kind of like internalizing that and kind of like seeing that as a sign that maybe this isn't the right path for you, or that you're doing something wrong. But I don't see that for you guys. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that whatever it is that you're trying to grow, it just needs time to ripen. It's kind of like if you were like a gardener, like if you were working on a garden or something like that. You can't just like plant the seed and immediately want to receive fruit from it. I think I might be wrong. I don't know anything about gardening, but I think I heard somewhere that like a lot of the times if you're like creating a garden, sometimes in order to, I feel like I think I've heard somewhere where like the first harvest of that garden, it's not gonna like feed you like throughout the year or anything like that. It can take like several years in order to build a garden that you're able to basically feed yourself and your family off of for like, except like after like that first harvest. And that's like kind of like what I'm seeing for you guys is like your expectations. I'm not hearing that you need to lower your expectations, but like I'm hearing that your expectations are leading you to the space where you're getting frustrated. I'm hearing for some of you that you might need to set different goals or different intentions, because it's like I feel like your current goals and your current intentions are like leading you to become frustrated. And kind of going back to this message I got earlier about you guys like feeling like you deserve some type of recognition like for the healing and the work that you've put on yourself. I'm hearing for you guys, you have to stop looking outside of yourself for that kind of gratification. Instead, I feel like it's important for you, it's your responsibility to recognize the work that you've put in yourself. It's not fair to expect other people to recognize that. And I'm hearing that if you are still looking for gratification from other people, then that may be a sign that you haven't done enough work, or you haven't been doing the work for the right reason. Because most of the time people, especially people like most people, especially I don't know, I don't want to say most people aren't working on themselves, but most people don't have the self-awareness to basically work on themselves. And so because of that, if you do have enough self-awareness to be able to point out what's not working for you and what you can change and work on within yourself, these people are not going to be able to recognize that, because these people are only going to be able to perceive you from the space that only from like the level that they can perceive themselves. So they see themselves as the same. They might perceive their world as the same, so they're going to only perceive you as being the same, even if you're not, even if that's not a true perception. That's just the way that it is. So it's going to be important that you start recognizing yourself and like how far you've come. And going back to those of you who are kind of like getting frustrated by like some like a certain goal that you're having a hard time reaching, I'm hearing it's going to be important that you start kind of like being proud of yourself for like the small things. I feel like maybe for some of you the frustration comes from not like you feel like you haven't been able to develop something that is like tangible, or something that can like sustain you. For example, it kind of makes me think of like, I don't know, people who are like let's say you're like working, I'm not saying this is your specific situation, but it's like, let's say you're like working on creating some type of business, and you've been putting a lot of like work into this business, but you're not able to like sustain yourself off of that business yet. Like for example, like you might still be working like a 9 to 5 while you're simultaneously working on that business, and because you haven't been able to like sustain yourself off of that, you might be, I don't know, it's like you're looking for some type of validation from like other people, or like you're looking at like, especially if like you're a content creator and you're like looking at these different numbers and you don't feel like they are equivalent to the amount of work that you put in. I feel like it's important for you to like take a step back and kind of like don't allow these things to kind of dictate your worth when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to work towards. I'm hearing instead it's going to be important that you start, validating yourself in other ways, like being proud of yourself in other ways. Like look at how far you've come. Like look, like you're not exactly where you was when you originally started. You have made progress, and it's making me think of like that saying that I try to keep in mind, like especially as I'm working on certain things, I try to like think of it as like, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was like someone was saying that like they see their like progress as them adding wood to the fire. So they might not have a big flame going yet, but if they're always if they keep adding a log into the fire, then that's going to keep that fire going, and eventually that fire will gain momentum, like the more and more they add wood to the fire. So I'm hearing for you, it's going to be important that you keep adding wood to the fire, and don't get like discouraged because you don't have this huge blaze. Because one, I'm thinking of how like, right now you're just like managing the fire right now, and it's not meant for you to, it's not, you don't want a huge flame, because you might not have, the equipment right now to manage such flame. If it might get away from you, it might get too carried away. There was something else that came in mind too, but I hope I didn't forget. If it's meant to come back, it'll come back. Oh, it was also like with these logs that you're adding to the flame. I'm hearing some of you, like, this is just like an analogy or whatever, but I'm hearing like I'm seeing some of you like trying to find like the biggest log that you can find, so you can like because you kind of like see it as like, if you can find the biggest flame that the biggest log that you can, and the log is being like, you like basically busting your tail to get where it is that you want to be. It's like I'm hearing it's important that you don't do that, because you might end up burning yourself out, or you might end up getting discouraged, because even though you're trying to find like the biggest log that you can find, you're still not making the progress that you want to see. So I'm hearing for you, it's going to be important that you just focus on like the smaller steps, and just trusting that these smaller steps are still going to get you where you want to be. It's not about like finding the biggest log to add to the fire. It's about being able to add a log, even if it's just a twig, adding a twig to the fire on a consistent basis. But that's what I'm seeing for you, the tarot cards. I'm gonna go ahead and see what your oracle cards have to say. So first you have tears of joy and sadness, and make a move. I believe like with this deck, it has like different cards that correspond with different elements, and I think the elements you got is like water. So I'm hearing definitely with these two cards, I'm hearing it's going to be very important that you kind of like be able to just like go with the flow. I feel like whatever this is that you're currently working on, I feel like for you it's about just enjoying the journey, and not so much like trying to rush the process of getting to like the destination. And I'm also hearing too, like with tears of joy and sadness, like whatever this journey that you've chosen, it's gonna have its ups and downs, and so it's gonna be really important that you don't get discouraged when you're experiencing your down moments, because for one, life is like a roller coaster. It's meant to have ups and downs. So, you know, I feel like a lot of us, we get so caught up in our highs, and we just like, I don't know, we believe that we want to just stay up in our highs all the time. But I feel the lows help us to appreciate those highs a little bit more. And I also feel like our lows are also, you know, valuable in teaching us important lessons to kind of get back to those high moments. So I feel like it's important for you to like kind of realize that even if you're experiencing a low point, especially when it comes to your growth or whatever it is that you're trying to work on, just know that, you know, the low moments don't always stay there forever. Eventually that you will experience a high again. So it's just important that you don't like get off the ride, don't get off the roller coaster, and just continue to ride it out and see where things go. Next card you have is work, and you also have the bumblebee. And I'm hearing the message because I'm thinking of how like bumblebees, especially like worker bumblebees, I don't know much about bumblebees, but I'm thinking of how like they all have a purpose, they all have a specific I guess a work assignment. It's almost like they all know, even if it's just intuitively, they all just know what they're meant to be doing. They know what their job is. And I don't know how bees communicate or anything like that, but I don't think like they all have like a specific duty, and it's like they all know what that duty is, and they don't go off like trying to go outside of that. And so with this work card, I'm hearing it's going to be important for you to become very clear about what your intentions are and what it is that you're trying to work towards. Because I'm hearing with this work card that your intentions might be all over the place, especially if you're trying to work on something specific. I'm hearing for you, it might be important that you just pick one thing to work on. Like this might not be your specific situation, but for an example, I'm kind of hearing how like if you have it set that you want to be a content creator, and so you're like trying to like work on all these different platforms, like you're trying to work on YouTube, or you're trying to work on TikTok, or you're trying to grow your Instagram following. And I'm hearing it's going to be important for you to, you know, get clear and just like, instead of trying to work on all of these things at once, focus on growing one thing at a time. Also I'm hearing for some of you, like if you're like a creative, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I can definitely relate to having so many hobbies and not really making a lot of progress in them, because you just have so many interests and you kind of like bounce around the different hobbies. But I'm hearing for some of you, it might be important, like if you have like different hobbies and you're trying to, like for example, just monetize these hobbies, I'm hearing for you it's going to be important that you maybe stick to one hobby or one medium or one creative project at a time. And you know, if you're able to get one of these things, you know, off the ground or up and running or something, then you can work on integrating them. Or if you can find a way to integrate all of these things but like create less work for yourself, then that may also benefit you. Before we move on to the last set of oracle cards, I do feel called to read from the book. I don't know how much of this I'm going to read, but it says, this card represents hard work, focus, and industry. While the ant card focuses on collaboration to achieve a goal, the bee card focuses on the goal itself. It represents effort toward a pleasant outcome or long overdue reward. This card tells us that the goal we seek is within our reach if we persist. The bee, like the hummingbird, is often associated with the sun. However, the bee's solar energy is focused on production, invention, and the job at hand. The ancient Egyptians are considered the first people to create artificial hives for producing honey. They also believe the sun god Ra created bees from his tears as they hit the sand. Honey has often been likened to gold or imbued with the power of the sun due to its color and its seemingly miraculous production of by these amazing insects. We may view the bee card as symbolizing the fruits of labor and a rich, successful outcome. This card indicates financial and business success. It is industry at its most rewarding and the sun shining down on your back as you toil. With that, I'm hearing it's going to be important that you don't give up. Don't allow yourself to become so frustrated to the point that you give up, because I do feel like, especially with this work card coming up, I do feel though that you will eventually like receive a reward. You will receive the fruit of your labor, but it's going to be important that you don't give up, even if you become frustrated, even if you feel like things aren't working out for you. I'm hearing, kind of going back to this tears of joy and sadness, I feel like when you do finally achieve the success that you've been working towards this whole entire time, I feel like it's kind of going to be like bittersweet for you, because it's like, yeah, you finally made it, but look at what you had to go through to get here. And I'm also hearing too, like, once you do reach the point where you currently think you want, I'm also hearing too, like, that's also not going to be good enough for you, because once you achieve that initial goal that you've been working towards, I'm hearing that you're going to just set a new goal for yourself. So it's like, I'm hearing, going back to like, I think I did talk about like kind of like finding a different source of achievement or accomplishment within yourself and the little things, instead of like that big goal that you're trying to reach. Because I'm like, again, like kind of going, I think like once you do reach that initial goal, like you're gonna just set another goal for yourself, and you're gonna set another goal for yourself and another goal for yourself. So you're never gonna have like this complete sense of accomplishment that you think you'll get now if you reach this goal. So I'm hearing it's going to be important that you kind of find different gauges, a different way to gauge your success and accomplishment. But now we're going to move into your final oracle cards. So you guys have bittersweet, creation, and expansion. One of the first things I'm hearing is because you got these two blue cards, and they do represent the throat chakra, and it makes me think of like, whatever this is, for some of you this might it has something to do with your voice. For some of you, I don't know, maybe you're working on a podcast, or maybe a YouTube channel, or maybe you're working on writing a book or something like that. But whatever, I'm hearing for some of you, whatever this thing that you're trying to work on, it has something to do with communication, also, you know, creation. With this creation card, I'm hearing the message that like you have to trust that the thing that you're trying to create, the thing that you desire, it also desires you. I'm hearing that you wouldn't have received, you know, this inspiration to start this thing, or you wouldn't receive the inspiration to pursue this specific thing if it wasn't something that wanted you as well. It kind of makes me think of this thing that I actually believe that like our ideas are kind of like their own entity on it, like its own, and they kind of like look around and try to find the best person to bring it to life. And so I'm hearing like your inspiration, or this idea that you have, that you're, or this goal that you have, it like found you because you were meant to bring it to life. But you just have to like trust that it will kind of like grow on its own. Like I'm hearing like the word surrender. So I'm hearing for some of you, like especially if you feel like you're always in the space where you're trying to control your growth and control the outcome, I'm hearing that it's important for you to, you know, let go of your control. And then we have bittersweet, and I think I did say something about bittersweet with tears of joy and sadness. And I'm kind of like being drawn to like how she's like giving, it kind of looks like another version of herself, this birthday cake, and she's like, look, we made it, like let's celebrate. And like this is like another version of yourself that's like, yeah, we'll celebrate, like I made it, but I'm still not satisfied. So I'm hearing for some, like it kind of, I think I've already said this, but it's like, yeah, I do feel like you will reach this goal, but I'm hearing that some of you, like you're gonna reach this goal, but you're gonna look for like, how can you expand even more on that goal? And so you'll never like have that sense of satisfaction. So again, it's gonna be important, like for some of you, you might just have to find or get like or have your source of gratitude be just from being able to create and work on whatever it is that you're trying to work on. But that's all I'm seeing for you, pile number one. I really hope this message resonated with you or you were able to take something from it. I'm currently not taking personal readings at this time, so please don't be scammed by anyone that might pretend to be me. But if you'd like to support me or my work, you can do so by simply liking and sharing this video with anyone that you think might be able to take something from this message. Also, you can subscribe because I do plan on uploading more videos like this in the future. But I appreciate you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another reading. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading. I have here your cards. I think we'll go ahead and pull your tarot cards first, and then we'll get into your oracle cards later. But you guys have the Five of Cups, the Devil, the Emperor, and the King of Swords. Okay, your message is honestly kind of tough because the message I'm getting is like I'm hearing I can't, and it's making me think of like when I was in elementary school. I had this teacher that refused to allow us to say I can't do something. If anytime we said we can't, she would make us to she would force us to replace can't with can. Even if we felt like we couldn't do something, we still had to say I can do it. But for you guys, I feel like for you there's like this for some it could be a different, for some of you I'm hearing like this does have to do with some type of healing. I'm not really for sure what this healing entails. It could be like emotional healing, it could be spiritual healing, I don't know, but I'm getting the sense that some of you, there's like this sense that there's a lack of control in like your entire life. I don't know, I feel like this lack of control, it's creating like this sense of like, I don't know, it feels like you might perceive yourself to be a failure for some reason. I'm hearing too like you might feel like you can't get ahead, and I'm hearing for some of you like this does have to do with like this is about like your own personal like mentality. Like it's the mentality that you have that is keeping you in this space where you don't have any control over your life. For some of you, like it's like this belief, like you have that belief like I can't control anything in my life, so it's like what's the point of even trying anything? It's almost like I'm hearing like the Devil card is almost like giving in to basically every self-destructive, hold on, let me fix my camera. It's like giving into every self-destructive habit and behavior because you don't, it's like you don't, it's almost like you don't feel like you're worthy of doing better for yourself or receiving better for yourself, or you don't see yourself as capable of doing what you, I believe, and I'm hearing your spirit guides, they believe you can do these things, but it's like you won't be able to do these things until you start to believe that you're capable of doing them. And with the Five of Cups, I keep hearing the word harmony and balance, and I'm hearing that there's a need for you to try to like, it's like there is a need for more balance in your life. And I'm not getting anything like specific, but I feel like for you, like this, I'm hearing specifically like this, it's like in a bunch of different areas of your life. Hold on, my camera keeps bleeding a little bit. And like it's like a lot of different areas of your life. It's like your eating, your relationships, your like self-care in general. It's making me think of how like a lot of people who get burnt out or they get really depressed and they just stop taking care of themselves. And I feel like you guys might be in that space where like you feel like you're not taking proper care of yourself. It's like maybe you feel like you've let yourself go, but it's like you also don't have the energy to do what you need to do in order to take care of yourself, so you do feel good about yourself. I'm also hearing too the need for you to let go of something about your past. Because like kind of going back to like that original message where I feel like some of you feel like you don't have control over your circumstances or your life, and I feel like you guys in the past have kind of gone through situations that were outside of your control. You may have like experienced things that you probably would have preferred not to experience, but I'm hearing that you're kind of like using those past experiences where you were powerless or where you weren't able to control the situation, and you're kind of like using that as a way to kind of like it's like you're using that as like proof of that you're not, you're not empowered now. But I'm hearing that you do have some power now to control your situation, but it's like you're not using it because you don't feel deserving. You don't feel like you deserve to use it. I'm trying to like pick up intuitively like on ways that I can like give you like advice or like what you can do about this, but I'm not getting anything from the tarot cards. I mean, I am getting something, but I'm still trying to like put that message together. I'll probably get some more clarity when I pull your oracle cards, but I don't feel ready to move on yet. Oh, I just got for some of you, there is a need for you to move on. Like for some of you, I'm hearing that you're currently still stuck in the past, and so I know this is like easier said than done, but for some of you, in order to move out of the space, you just simply need to move on. And there's a need for you to accept that the things that happened in the past, they were in the past and they were just things that happened. It's like that saying, they didn't happen to you, they happened for you. So I'm hearing like, I do feel that though, like whatever this was that happened in the past that made you feel powerless, I do feel like that this happened for a specific reason. I don't know why, but I got the word like codependent. So I don't know why. This might only be a specific message, but I'm getting the message of like someone was in a codependent relationship, or like a relationship where you just put a lot of yourself into that connection. And I feel like the person you were in a connection with, like they made a lot of the decisions like within the relationship and also about the relationship, and like the thing that they decided was to end that relationship. And it's almost like you kind of like gave a lot of your identity was wrapped up in this connection. And I also feel like this person too, like they like for example, they made all the appointment, like this is just, I don't know, they made a lot of the appointments, or like they just made a lot of the decisions when it comes to if y'all live together like within the home. And so like it's like now that this person has decided to break things off, you're kind of like left on your own, having to make your own decisions. And I feel like for like this is a very specific message, so please only take it if it resonates, but I'm hearing that you guys in that type of situation, like I feel like this is something that you've experienced in your entire life. Like maybe you grew up not being able to make certain decisions or be the leader in your own life, and you always had other people guiding you and dictating what it is that you do and all of your decisions. And so it's like now you're at this point where you're responsible for your decisions, you're responsible for your life, you're responsible for doing the right thing by yourself. And it's like it's almost like you feel debilitated, like you can't, like it's like you can't do these things, but I'm hearing like you can do them. You just have to, I'm hearing you just simply have to, I'm hearing you, like, one of the advice that you're getting is to kind of like envision yourself as being capable, envision a version of yourself that is able to take control and take your power back and create some type of balance and harmony in your life. But let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards. So the first card you have is affirmations for healing the heart. And then you have plant the seeds. The message I'm getting for you is, one of the things that came through was like the word manifestation, and it's making me think of how like people use manifestation as a way to create a whole new identity for yourself. I'm hearing first things first, the first thing you need to focus on is healing. Allowing yourself, especially if you do relate to that specific message of like just getting out of a relationship, I'm hearing the first thing you need to do is to kind of make your intentions be healing and letting go of that connection. Kind of like I don't know, maybe I'm hearing some of you might still be in a space where like you're in denying that relationship ended. I don't know, for some of you, you might still believe that person might come back for some reason, or you might believe that this relationship can be fixed. But I'm hearing, not saying that relationship can't be fixed, but I just feel for some of you, especially if this was a very codependent relationship, I don't believe like codependent relationships can work at all. I don't believe any relationship can work unless, you know, two people who have a very strong sense of self individually and then, you know, can like coexist with one another. And I don't feel like you guys had that, especially if you do relate to that specific situation. I feel like you have to first develop a strong sense of self, and then maybe, I'm not saying specifically like this, you and this person can fix this, but it's like, even if you and this person don't fix this, I do feel though that you'll be able to move on. You'll, you know, feel secure on your own. You'll feel secure being alone, and you'll be able to use that security within yourself to then in the future create, you know, secure bonds with other people. But I am hearing though that it's going to be important that you put your focus and intention on healing and basically allowing yourself time to grieve the loss of this connection. You know, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Your feelings are very valid, and it's important that you don't like deny yourself or feel delusional about your feelings. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. And then I'm hearing the next step is to use manifestation to become a new version of yourself. You might currently perceive yourself as, I don't want to say these things, but it's like you see, I feel like your self-image of yourself is very, very, very not good. And I'm hearing like from the current perception of yourself, you're not going to be able to make any type of progress. I'm hearing because you just don't see yourself as, I don't know, as worthy of better. And so you're not going to be able to receive anything better if you don't feel you're deserving of that. So I'm hearing instead to kind of like use manifestation and kind of like visualize this version of yourself that is deserving of better, that is deserving of better relationships and just like better in general when it comes to your life. And kind of like seeing that version of yourself, like what does that version of yourself do? What does that version of yourself believe in? Like how does that version of yourself exist from day to day? And even if you don't feel that you can be that version of yourself, kind of like, okay, be like, okay, like this version of myself does this version of myself does that. What actions or what small steps can I take to get closer to being that version of yourself. You don't have to like completely change your whole identity overnight. It's just a matter of taking like small steps to kind of like aligning yourself to that ideal version of yourself, and then eventually you will find that you are that version of yourself, and you'll start feeling more deserving of, or you'll start feeling more in control of your life, and you'll start feeling more deserving of better. And I feel like right now you are at this phase where you're just like planting the seeds, but like eventually like you'll start realizing that you're attracting so much into your life, and it's like good things because you've healed yourself and you're aligned to a version of yourself that is deserving of better. And then the next card you have is Secret. The thing that's standing out to me with the Secret card is I'm kind of like seeing, I think this is a crow or a raven or something, but it's making me think of like, I'm seeing a reflection. So it's making me think how like everything is mirrored. So our current self is mirrored to our past. Our current self is also mirrored to our future self. Our past and our future self are also mirrored. So it's like, you know, it's like you can't like I don't know, for some of you I'm getting the message that you might feel like maybe you'd be better off if you hadn't experienced these things in the past, or maybe there is like some type of resentment towards your past self, or maybe I do believe that you guys feel like this future version of yourself, it's just so far away, it's something that's unobtainable, but they're already connected. It's just a matter of, you know, reflecting, kind of like oh, okay, so maybe mirror work will, you know, help you a lot when it comes to healing. If you're not sure how to do mirror work, I would recommend, I'm pretty sure there are like videos or stuff like that on YouTube that you can find. But basically looking at your mirror, I don't know why, but I'm hearing for you to like maybe call out that past version of yourself, you know, communicate with that past version of yourself, like acknowledge its pain, acknowledge what it's been through, you know, don't shame it or, you know, talk down to that past version of yourself, but instead be kind and show that version of yourself compassion, and, you know, make a commitment that the things that past version of yourself experienced, make a commitment that you'll try to do better and be more discerning, so that past version of yourself doesn't have to experience similar situations in your current reality. Maybe then go and do something similar with your future self, and make a commitment that you'll try to make actions that are aligned to that future version of yourself. With pile number 1, I did read from the book, so I think I'm going to do that for you guys as well if I can find it. I'm not sure what animal this is. I think it's a crow or a raven. Okay, so it is a raven, and I'm going to just read from the book, and it says this card represents hidden secrets, the gathering of knowledge, and the spreading of rumors. As ravens Hugin and Munin reported after findings to the Norse god Odin, the raven card urges you to discover the truth behind hidden secrets. It may warn of a secret about to be revealed for better or worse. This card may be preparing us for a difficult realization or exposed trauma. Just as Hugin and Munin represented reflection and memory. The Raven card may also be urging us to confront a secret of our own and question why we are hiding this part of our life from others. It does not judge, but merely presents us with what it sees. Be prepared to look at the secrets shown to you with compassion and understanding, to gain wisdom from what they have to teach you and about others and yourself. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be important. Like I'm hearing secret shadow work. So I don't know, lately I've been seeing a lot about like the shadow work journal on TikTok. I don't know how valid it is. I mean, I guess for other people it might benefit them to use like prompts and stuff to do shadow work and healing. I have my own opinions about shadow work. I don't believe that we're supposed to like force ourselves to do shadow work. I believe like, I don't know, the opportunity to do shadow work kind of comes up on its own or organically. Like we don't have to always be constantly doing shadow work. I feel like it's only if you feel like stuck or you feel like you're repeating certain cycles, maybe it might benefit you. I don't feel like you need a journal either, like especially a journal that's on TikTok. I don't know, maybe it is beneficial for someone. I haven't read it or looked into it, but if you have or you know someone that has done so, let me know in the comments and let me know like what was their experience like with it. But that's something that's coming up. But even if you don't want that journal that's on TikTok, you can do like shadow work on your own by like kind of like get like that example that I was telling you guys with the mirror, or like just simply journaling. I'm pretty sure there's again YouTube videos that you can find to help you with shadow work. But that's something that's going to benefit you. For others of you, if it's available to you, maybe trying therapy, I feel like that will benefit you. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, I feel like there's a part of yourself that with the secret card, there's a part of yourself that maybe you've been avoiding or hiding from. Maybe it's a part of you that you've been ashamed of, and because like you thought that you could like push it away or lock it away, and it's like it's just creating like you can't like suppress or like the things you don't like about yourself. You can't just like ignore these things because it's running rampant within your subconscious, and it's gonna like run like a bunch of havoc, like create a bunch of havoc in your current experience and in your reality. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to deal with it and give it the attention that it's seeking, but don't like entertain it. It's kind of like I don't know why, but I'm thinking of how like with like demons, like you don't want to like entertain the demon, you don't want to invite the demon to stay, but you do want to like, you want to confront it, you want to call it out, you want to shed light on that demon, but you don't want to like internalize it, you know. But you know, I feel like for you, like you're dealing with your own personal demons, and so it's important that you don't integrate, you don't become the demon, but you do shine light and kind of call out that inner demon within you, so it's no longer creating, you know, chaos in your life. But then you have recovery, enlightenment, and instinct. I'm hearing for some of you that you already know what you need to do. I don't know why, but I also got the message that some of you might be like I kind of talked about like a codependent relationship, but I'm also hearing too that you guys might have a codependent relationship with not a person, but maybe you have a dependency on a certain substance, or you have a dependency on a certain behavior, or it's a dependency on a certain thought belief. And I'm hearing that it's like you guys know what you need to do in order to deal with it. It's just a matter of like you taking action towards it. With the instinct card, I'm hearing that some of you might need to change environment. I feel like for some of you, you just have so many people like telling you what you should be doing, and I don't think this is benefiting you at all. So I'm hearing it's going to be important for you to be mindful of the environment that you're in and kind of like seeing how that's influencing you when it comes to you doing what I feel like you know is best for you. With the enlightenment card, it's I feel like for some of you, whatever the situation that you're in, I feel that you went through it for a reason. It wasn't, I don't know, for some of you, depending on what you've experienced, I feel like you're going to be able to, I know you're going to be able to come out of this. And I feel like for some of you, you're going to be able to use your experience to help and guide other people. I don't know why, but I'm getting the word shaman. So, like, I don't know, like, I feel like with shamans, most shamans, they've become shamans by, like, I don't want to say they struggled, but a lot of them, that's kind of like, basically, like, they're not afraid to face demons. They've kind of like sat with themselves in the darkness, and that's not like something that's easy to do. That's not something that everyone can do, and because they can, that's why they're so respected. That's why they are sought after when it comes to people coming to them to healing. And I feel like maybe, I mean, I'm not saying that you'll be a shaman, but it's something similar to that. Like, I feel like you're going to be able to do something that not everyone is able to do, especially if you are, you do become very serious when it comes to your healing. And maybe doing shadow work, like, that's not something that everyone is fully capable of doing, because it's not easy. It can be very scary to confront yourself in that way and to hold yourself accountable in that way. So yeah, I feel like, everything that you went through, it was for a specific reason. And I do believe, like, the things that you've experienced in your life, I do feel like in some way it is a part of your purpose. But yeah, that's not really important. It's just right now what's important is you kind of like going through this process. But that's all I'm seeing for you, pawn number 2. I really hope this message resonated with you, or you were able to take something from it. I'm currently not taking personal readings at this time, so please don't be scammed by anyone who might pretend to be me offering such. But if you'd like to support me and my work, you can do so by liking this video and sharing it with anyone that you think might benefit from this message or any of the other messages. Also, subscribing to this channel will help me out a bunch, because I do plan on posting more videos in the future, and I look forward to seeing you in a future reading. Hello, pawn number 3, and welcome to your reading. I have here your cards. I think I'm going to go through your tarot cards first and do your oracle cards at the end. Also, there's a fly flying around somewhere in my room, and it's kind of like annoying me, but not too much. Hopefully it's not, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much, along with, I guess you can say, construction. I'm not really sure what they're doing next door, but they're like banging. I think they're working on the floors or something, but hopefully nothing is too distracting from the message. But you guys have the Star. You have 9 of Swords. Four of Pentacles. And Justice. Your message, it reminds me of the show that I'm currently watching. It's called Call the Midwife, and in that show there's like these nuns, and I keep hearing something that they said in one of the episodes, but it was like something about like one of the nuns were like questioning their faith or something like that. I'm not saying you guys like questioning your faith, but I'm seeing like for you guys, there's your fears and even like anxiety is keeping you away from your faith. For some of you that don't belong to a certain faith, I mean, that's okay. I personally don't belong to like a specific religion or anything like that either, but I do have certain beliefs. I do believe in nature. I believe in, a creator. I do believe in source. Like, there's different names. I feel like humans, we give so many names, but it's like all the same thing. But basically what I'm hearing for you guys is, I do feel there is a need for you to develop a sense of belief in a power that is higher than you. Because what I'm getting for you is that it feels like it's like you're trying to maintain control and balance of a situation, but like by you trying to maintain control, you're you're stressing yourself out more than you really need to be. I don't know why, but I'm just getting the sense that I feel like for you guys, it's like you're trying to be more logical and practical, but you're not really. I'm hearing you're not living by your spirit. You're not living through spirit. Because if you did so, you wouldn't have to have all the fear. You wouldn't have to have all the worry. Um, you wouldn't have to hold on and be so in control of, you know, a certain situation. I don't know what this is specifically, but it just feels like you're trying to. I'm hearing you're trying to keep things afloat. You're just trying to keep things balanced. And I'm hearing like for some of you, this might have to do with something in your home. Like this could be, I don't know, like for example, like this could be like monetary like things. Like you're trying to stay in control of your finances. For some of you, like has to do with like your household. Like you're trying to keep your household running properly or something like that, but it's like you're creating a lot of unnecessary worry and stress for yourself by doing so. I don't know why, but I'm getting the message that some of you might be you have a hard time sleeping. For some of you, like this is like insomnia, like you might have a hard time getting to sleep. And for some of you that are having a hard time getting to sleep, like I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm hearing the reason why you're not able to sleep is because your nervous system is still running. You still have so much adrenaline running through your body because you're in constant fight or flight. Because you're not allowing yourself to rest. Because you're always thinking of how like, okay, I got this bill coming up. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna make the money for this bill. I'm gonna, if you have children or a household to run, it's like you're thinking about how like, okay, I gotta, get this kid to this practice, get that kid to that practice, and I have to work, then I have to cook dinner. It's like something like that. But for others of you, like might be like even like bigger than that. Like that, it could be like I don't know why, but I'm kind of getting some type of relationship to pile number one. So I think it was pile number one. So I don't know if you felt called to pick pile number one. I feel like there's a message for you in that pile also, because there's like this sense of you trying to control a certain outcome or a certain situation, and because you're trying to control the outcome of that situation, it's like creating a lot of unnecessary stress and mental turmoil for you. And kind of going back to the sleep thing, some of you might be dealing with insomnia and others of you are, I don't know, I feel like you can sleep, but it's like you might be having night terrors or bad dreams that kind of like end up waking you up. I'm hearing like your dreams, like the details in your dreams, like they're about like certain things not working out for you, or like I'm hearing like the ball dropping in your life. For some of you, it's like I'm kind of surprised that the Two of Pentacles isn't here. I just saw it in my mind, but it's like your dreams might include you like juggling so many different things, and like I don't know, I feel like you just have this impending doom that like you're gonna drop the ball on one of these things. You're not gonna be able to carry and sustain it for too much longer. Like inevitably something is going to fall through your grasp. And I'm hearing for you, like this is where your faith comes in. I'm hearing for some of you, like you're gonna have to let go. You're gonna have to allow the divine or your spirit guides or some divine being to kind of carry. Of course, we can't like give our light bill or anything like that to spirit, but it's like the mental turmoil that you're currently carrying. These are things, that's something that you can hand off to the divine. And I do believe that at the time of me recording it, I think it's the 26th today, and I think there's a full moon coming up on the 28th. So that will be, I think this video will be posted by then. So with that, I'm here, like what I like to do during times of full moons is I like to release. So that may be something that you might be interested in. You know, at the time of you like watching, don't like click off yet, continue to watch this message, but some of you might need to make a list of all the things that you're currently stressed out about. Make a list of all the things that you're afraid of falling through. Make a list of all the things, like all of your failures, and kind of like hand these things off to the divine. Even if you don't have a, you know, specific faith, I believe that like just writing these things down, it kind of creates space within your mind where, you know, they're no longer plaguing you, they're no longer haunting you. And now these thoughts that have been like running rampant in your mind, they have a physical form, which is a, you know, piece of paper, or, you know, preferably like a real piece of paper. I would prefer that you write these things down on a piece of paper, and not really a digital journal or anything like that, because another thing that you can do, another thing that I like to do, is to like burn that piece of paper, or, you know, if you're afraid of like messing with fire, you can rip it up, or, you know, flush it down the toilet. You know, I don't want you guys to mess up your toilet and anything like that, so just like rip it up, throw it in the trash, and it, like, you've taken these thoughts that have been running rampant in your mind, you've put them into something physical, and you've taken care of it. You've trashed these thoughts, you've destroyed these thoughts, so they're no longer, you know, dictating or taking control of your life and your situation. Sorry, I had to stop recording. I had to answer a text, but where were we? Oh, I'm hearing for you guys as well. I do feel, because I can be in your mind how like the star comes after the tower, and basically like the story goes like, you know, you have that tower moment, and basically the star is where you've kind of like lost everything. And usually when the star is upright, you're currently in the process of rebuilding. I got the message that some of you may perceive that you kind of like hit a rock bottom, or I don't feel like you're currently at rock bottom anymore, but I do feel that you have hit rock bottom, or what you perceive to be rock bottom, at some point in your life. And I feel that you have managed to kind of come above that. And I am hearing that like you might be holding on to, you know, that fear and that anxiety that you experienced when you was at rock bottom. It's making me think of like the book I'm currently reading. You might have heard of it. It's called The Body Keeps Score, or something like that. The Body Keeps a Score. And I haven't gotten really far in it, but so far I have gotten to like this part where he was explaining how like, you know, traumatic experiences is not just, you know, about the mind, or, you know, our mentality and stuff like that. It does have a, you know, a physical impact on our body as well. And a lot of the times we kind of like have these traumatic experiences, and we a lot of the times when we do experience trauma, we, you know, we try our best to kind of like move past them, and you know, move on with our lives. But we like the traumatic experiences, they basically imprint on us. And, you know, even like in ways that we're not currently aware of, we're still like re-experiencing those traumas over and over and over again. Because even though, you know, we don't like, we might be dissociating, we might not be like, I don't know, it's like we don't realize something that's like triggered us and put us back in that state where we were traumatized, but like our body is like, our nervous system is like on 100, and like we're currently in fight or flight, and we don't even realize it. And that's kind of like, I'm getting that for you guys. Like you might be experiencing that, where like you're currently, your nervous system is currently out of whack because of something that you've experienced, or that rock bottom that you experienced, and it's like you're in constant fear. You might be constantly alert because you're trying to like brace yourself. Like maybe whatever the situation was, it was like all of a sudden, or came about all of a sudden, and you weren't prepared for it. And I'm hearing for some of you like your trauma is making you be constantly aware of, or prepared for a danger that isn't necessarily coming, but it's like you are preparing for, or you're bracing yourself against something that's not necessarily occurring in your life at this current point in time. And I'm hearing for some of you, like you might find healing through your faith, but for others of you, I'm hearing that you might need, I'm hearing that you guys need an outlet, or I'm trying to think. It's like you guys need you need something to channel these feelings through. So for some of you, this might be your faith, and for others of you, you might need to like seek therapy or something. But I'm hearing that it's important that you don't need to deal with these things alone, and stop carrying these things all on your own. Let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards. So you guys have follow your dreams, and transformation and change. The message I'm getting for you is, it kind of feels like with this transformation and change card, I feel like you guys are kind of like that I just said. I feel like you guys are like bracing yourself for a reality that hasn't occurred yet. I feel like you guys have moved out of that space where you feel like you've hit rock bottom. I'm trying to get this message because Spirit is like giving me a download, but it's like, okay, I'm seeing like phases, like different parts. So like in one part of your life you hit rock bottom, and then I feel like you're currently in like this middle space where you're not at rock bottom, but you're not in this other phase where like everything's good and you're basically living your dream life, or the life of your dreams. I feel for some of you that you are currently stuck in this middle phase because you are afraid of dreaming. It's almost like this rock bottom that you experience, it's almost like you had like a reality check, where like maybe in the past you used to be a dreamer, or you had this dream of how your life would be or how your life would look, and it was almost like reality hit, and it kind of like it killed your dream, it killed your optimism, it killed your hope for the future, and now you're in this place where like you're not even like, you're not holding onto that dream or that vision anymore. Instead, you're just preparing yourself for the worst to happen again. And I feel the messages for you is there. I feel like your spirit guides are trying to move you back into that space where you're dreaming again. And I don't know, maybe you guys don't even feel like you believe in things like angels and spirit guides and the Most High, or you guys might not even believe in like spirituality or like spiritual practices or anything like that. You guys might not even believe in tarot readings or tarot cards or anything like that. And if that's the case, I'm kind of curious as to why you decided to click on this video, because I don't know, I feel like the things that you've experienced, it made you kind of like lose your faith a little bit. Well, not a little bit, I feel like it's a lot. But I feel like the thing that you experienced, it wasn't meant to move you away from your spiritual beliefs or your spiritual practice. I feel like the space that you're currently in, I don't feel like you're not meant to stay in there, in this space forever. I feel the things that you experienced it so that it could help grow your faith. So I don't know, I'm hearing your spirit guides are saying like, come back to your faith, come back to your, especially if you was religious at some point, or you had a spiritual practice or a certain set of rituals or something that you did. I'm hearing the spirit is calling you to come back to these things. But I'm also getting from like your energy, it's like you're like, well, these things didn't help me, they didn't protect me, they didn't keep me safe from harm. So like, what's the point? And I'm hearing from your spirit guides that the things that you experienced, I don't know why, but I'm hearing that you, like, I feel like it's weird because the divine, the most high, whoever, it has a weird way of answering our prayers and our requests. So, for example, like, let's say you prayed for abundance. A lot of the times, if you're praying for abundance, spirit or the most high will, they might take everything away from us, take away like all of our material possessions or our material wealth. And it's a lesson to teach us how to feel abundant from like sources perspective, and not so much as from the human perspective. I hope I'm making sense, but it's like spirit is showing you, well, not this is just an example, but like spirit is giving you the abundance that you asked for, but it's in a different form than you expected it. So whatever it was that you experienced, I'm hearing that your spirit guides, they did answer your prayers, just not, it wasn't in the way that you expected it to. I don't know, for some of you, you may have asked for a spiritual transformation or spiritual growth, and I feel that the way that spirit answered your question was by putting you through the test spiritually. And I know you experienced something that you might feel that you didn't want to experience, but I'm hearing that it was a plan. It was everything was planned out. I'm hearing that your spirit guides, they, like, even though you feel like you hit rock bottom, I feel like I'm hearing from your spirit guides that things could have been even worse, but your spirit guides, they didn't let you experience that. They only let you experience what you needed to experience to get you to what you asked for. Okay, then your next card you have is Death. Okay, and I know a lot of people, when they see Death in tarot, even though this isn't a tarot card, it's an oracle card, a lot of people see Death and they're like, oh my god, that's so scary, why are you going to talk about death? But death is just transformation. So I guess this is just like confirmation that like what you experienced, it was a transition. It wasn't the ending of something, it was a transition from one point to the next. But I feel, kind of going back to that vision I had of like these different parts, I feel like you guys have kind of gotten stuck in, oh, okay, I just heard the word birth canal, because when I think of death in transitioning, oftentimes I do think of birth, because I do feel like both mom and the baby, like through that whole process of birthing, that is like the closest we come to experiencing both life and death at the same time, because it's like this huge transition. And so I feel like where you guys are currently at, like you're currently stuck in the birth canal. Like, you're not in the darkness, you're not in that rock bottom place where you used to be, but you are currently stuck in the birth canal. And I feel like Spirit is trying to get you to, it's kind of like how, like, I see a lot of the times when I see women doing natural births, the midwife is always telling the birth mother to, you know, trust yourself, trust your body, trust that it knows, you know, what it's doing. And I'm hearing for you, it's going to be important that you trust yourself, trust the divine, that everything is working out in your best interest. And I'm hearing that, you know, there's like just one big push until you are basically in, I'm hearing like maybe for some of you, like what you asked the divine for was a different reality from the one that you're currently experiencing. And again, I feel like whatever it was that you experienced, it was something that you had to experience in order to move into the reality that you asked for. Like pile number 1 and 2, I did read out of the guidebook for this card. I think this is a moth, so hold on, I'm gonna try and, oh, it flipped right to it. Okay, so you have death, and the word death may at first cause you discomfort, but in the natural world, death is an essential part of rebirth, new growth, and sustaining life. While you may choose to view this card as a representation of physical death, understand that it also signifies symbolic death. This card may mean the end of a journey, the end of a relationship, or the end of an attachment. It may also represent the end of one path and the movement on to the next. While the moth is known as a creature of shadow and night, we must remember that it is always seeking out the light. Leaves may fall and rot into the earth, but their decay feeds new growth. This card may symbolize hope and happiness in the face of life-changing events or endings or new beginnings after a life-changing event. The moth card may be urging you to let go of old thoughts, traumas, and anxieties that stagnate your mind, or to cut bad habits from your life that may be holding you back from real change. Okay. I'm sorry for the banging, but the message I got for you when I was reading the passage is, I feel like the rock bottom that you experienced, or the pain, you know, the thing that you kind of wish that you didn't experience, I feel like you kind of had to experience it, because I feel like through that experience, it kind of killed off this old version of yourself. So maybe some of you, like, especially if you did resonate with like spirituality at some point, and you may have asked for like spiritual growth, or you may have asked for ascension, or you may have just asked for growth in general. You know, Spirit had to, in order to receive that growth, you first had to kind of like have this ego death. You had to basically kill off this old version of yourself, and that is why you experience what you experience in the first place. But your last set of cards, you have release. And it's weird because we have like another kind of morbid type card, because we have like this person in this graveyard, and then you have grief and destiny. So with this destiny card, I'm hearing the message like, yeah, like I feel like what the thing that happened to you, it was meant to happen. And I think, not for sure, but I think the mess, like this, each of these cards come with like a specific story. And I think with this destiny card, I feel like these two people here at the bottom, they asked Spirit, or they asked Creator for something, and Spirit gave them exactly what it was that they asked for. And yeah, I feel like that's the case for you guys too. And then we also have like this grief card, and it's kind of weird because you have like this, like your cards are kind of morbid, but there is a beautiful message behind, you know, the kind of darker appearing images on the cards. But I feel for you like okay, so again, I'm going back to like seeing how like when mother, like well, you know, people are giving birth to babies, and like there's like when the baby emerges from, you know, the birth canal, most of the times the baby cries and also the mother cries. And again, another thing too, through the process of birth, it is painful, but the end result is something beautiful. And that's what this grief card is making me think of for some reason. So it's like the thing that you experienced, it was painful. I feel like the spirit is definitely validating your experience, and they're not trying to like gaslight you and tell you that, okay, just like get over it, like you asked for this, you're gonna receive something beautiful from it. I feel like spirit is definitely acknowledging what you've experienced and what you went through, and I feel like spirit is calling you to allow yourself to grieve, because I feel, again, this is going to help you come out of this fight or flight mode, because I feel like whatever it was that you were experiencing, I don't feel like you gave yourself enough time to kind of process what it was that you were going through. It was kind of like you were just fighting against the energy, fighting against what was going on, so you wouldn't, like, whatever it was that you were experiencing, it was like you were fighting against it so that it wouldn't destroy you. So I'm hearing it's important for you to allow yourself to grieve. I'm hearing it's important that you grieve your old life, grieve what you've left behind, grieve what it was that you feel like you've lost. And I'm hearing through the process of grieving, you'll be able to let go finally, like let go of that finally, and basically be birthed into your new reality. But that's all I'm seeing for you, pile number 3. I really hope this message resonated with you, or you were able to take something from it. I'm currently not taking personal readings at this time, so you can support me and my work by liking this video and also sharing it with someone you think may benefit from this message or one of the other messages. Also, subscribing to this channel will also help me a lot. I do plan on making more videos in the future, and I hope to see you in one of those readings as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another reading.